to Mailbag here on the Cowboys Report. I am Tom Downey. That is producer Stone behind the scenes, by the way. He's picking the questions, but first we start with super thanks from CJ DeYoung III. Nothing's getting fixed this year. We're just going with what we got. I wouldn't expect any real changes in the offseason. And he had this one. Both these came in before the Giants game, but there was no show in between. No, there's an extra one. Didn't have one, so we're putting him on this one here. You know, I'm a longtime Cowboys fan. Hope we get spanked this week. Maybe the joke that ownership will wake the F up. Thanks. They felt really confident. Again, ownership did come out of the game, which is stupid because they shouldn't be, but I didn't want to lose that game. Even now, I know you got injuries. You're 2-2. You got 2 games before the bye. You won't be out of it before the bye week, and in theory, you get some healthy pieces back. I don't want to quit right now. I don't want to bail yet. We can check in again in a few weeks closer to the NFL trade deadline. And you can get on the show via Super Chat or via Super Thanks. It is a feature on YouTube. You can donate outside of live video. Simply click your thanks icon, edit your message, send in whatever it is. Any Super Thanks equals a shout-out because we appreciate your support here on the Cowboys Report. So get those in. Some more Super Thanks here. Zach Crosby next up. I know it's bad for pass defense, but can't they try a 4-6 defense on rundowns? They get shredded in base 4-3. I feel like they're talented enough in the secondary to not get totally cooked. To me, a 5th or 6th big boy would at least stop the run more than they are now. This also came in before the Giants game. They stopped the run. They've actually been terrible with loaded boxes. They've done a really bad job of that. They also, and this is also the thing I've had concerns about, they have not been a great pass coverage team for about half a year now, dating back to last season. They have not been very good. They've got issues across the board. Maybe once Bland gets healthy, you're talented enough in the secondary, but they were getting cooked by Malik Neighbors and Wan'Dale Robinson all game long. Mostly short stuff, but still. Marcus Arnold, thanks. Taking a couple days to think about this, and I've come to the conclusion. The Cowboys are the exact same place they were last season. The difference is the offense isn't scoring 40 points a game to bail the defense out. Why? Because Jerry didn't change anything that mattered in March. I agree. I completely agree. I don't like what the offseason was. You're paying the price for your lack of offseason moves. You lost Dante Fowler, you lost Dorrance Armstrong, and you replaced them with just Marshawn Nealon. You lost multiple defensive linemen, and you replaced them with guys you signed in August. Linval Joseph, who was better, but still not very good by his standards, I think, last week in week 4. And a guy that already is on IR, and Jordan Phillips. Like, you're paying the price for your lack of offseason moves right now. Especially when you lose guys to injuries too, you were already thin. Now you're super thin. From the wrong one. Why is it that we are so committed to running the ball up the middle, not bouncing guys outside, especially Deuce Vaughn? It's obvious we can't block well enough to run up the middle, nor do we have the talent. I agree. I don't understand what the Cowboys' planning is. Like, especially Deuce Vaughn. Like, why are you just putting him up the middle over and over again? If you're just going to do that, don't even bother playing him. Activate somebody else instead. There's no purpose with that. It's just silliness. They ran some nice outside zone plays. Hope more of that continues. From Ryan, is Cook going to play? Now, this came in before the Week 4 game. I think in this particular case, we'll focus on the Week 5 angle, which I think is still valid. I don't know if he's going to play. Maybe the running game had enough signs of life. They run with it for one more week. You're also juggling, okay, you're going to have to call up Carl Lawson. Is Kalen Carson back? Do you know Oruwariye up again? Do you have to release somebody, IR somebody? You got some weird roster gymnastics to do that you might not be able to do with Dalvin Cook. So I don't know what's going to happen with Cook, but I think you should consider it. Should Dalvin Cook play in Week 5? Y for yes, N for no. Let me know in the comments section of today's show. Some super thanks to get to here from Pug Racer. Defense is kind of cooked without 11 and D-Law. Too bad Jerry will say something about how he likes the backups and he measured them himself. It's a good joke. You saw the clip. Yeah, you saw the clip. Good job, Stone. Yeah, they're going to like their guys. I am fine if he says it publicly as long as they try to do stuff behind the scenes. You don't have to admit it, but you need to go look for help there. From well, why not? I think the loss of DeMarcus is worse than the loss of Micah. The defense should improve since then it's just a bunch of Jags who will be more willing to play with the system and trust Zimmer. That's my concern, actually, is that the opposite happens. Because that's what they have to do. But, Micah was playing within the system. Micah bought in to do your job, and everything will work out behind you. That's why he was so frustrated after week 3 and made some public comments. Because he kind of got it now. I think a light bulb came on for him. Tank had kind of been like, making comments. We weren't locked in, whatever. And in years past, Micah was going rogue a little bit, which is fine when you make plays. You can't go rogue and not make the play. That's when you get into issues there. Micah and Tank can play hero ball. Other guys can't. But Micah was the one buying in, doing his job against Lamar Jackson. The linebackers were not. The safeties were not. So I am worried that it's just going to put more pressure. They don't handle the pressure well. Maybe we can get some Ewing theory with those two guys out for at least a little bit. Today's show is made possible by Prize Picks. They are America's #1 daily fantasy sports app, over 5 million active members. It is the easiest and most exciting way to play daily fantasy sports. Unlike other apps, it's you against the numbers. You pick more, pick less, 2 to 6 player stat projections. Watch those winnings roll in. Marshall Green, who is still down bad after his Giants lost again to the Cowboys, sent me his Prize Pick slate. He's got the Caleb Williams half passing yard, Derrick Henry 1 touchdown, and Aaron Jones more than rushing yards in a revenge game for Aaron Jones. So download the Prize Picks app today. Use code CLNS. Then get $50 instantly when you play 5. That's code CLNS over on Prize Picks to get $50 instantly when you play 5. You don't even need to win to get the $50 bonus. It is guaranteed. Links in the comments and the description of today's show. Carlos, if the Cowboys make a trade because of the Cowboys' injuries, who do you think they would target? Do you think they will? I doubt it would be Haason Reddick. I would love that. I'd be a very happy camper if they went out and got him. Expectations are low there. Just given this team's history of what they do and don't do. I think that they could certainly look around for stuff there. But expectations is like you're going to get like a 4th edge rusher. It's also September. Like, there aren't that many great players available in the market. Robert, I feel a little better if we beat the Eagles both times, even if we have a bad season this year. Yeah, you would feel better about that. For sure. I would also, if you beat the Eagles twice, you probably don't have a bad season. That kind of goes a long way for you. So, from Chark4288, Tom, who will be the Cowboys head coach next year? Who do you want as our head coach next year? My first ask out of this Cowboys team, when they move on from Mike McCarthy, is do a real coaching search. If you get up there and you meet with 5 coaches and you fulfill the bare minimum of your requirements and you don't really do much else, I don't really know what you're doing at that point. I think that's kind of stupid. So I hope that you do a real head coaching search. Top of my list is Ben Johnson. He does great motion stuff. He is not from the Shanahan tree, but has very similar designs. I think he does a great job. He knows how to maximize his players. He's turned down head coaching jobs back-to-back years. I would love Ben Johnson. Do I get him? I don't know. I would not rule out some of the bigger names, the Belichicks, etc. If the defense figures stuff out, I also wouldn't rule out Mike Zimmer, which I would hate. But in the past, Jerry has said he don't have to have a new head coach for learning on the job. Your retread options are better than most years, Belichick, Vrabel, etc., but still some question marks. Cameron, would the Giants trade us Dexter Lawrence? I don't think so. He's awesome. The Giants also traded for Brian Burns, knowing that Daniel Jones is bad. So I don't think they're going to be a seller of that level. You get somebody cheaper, maybe. Maybe the trade is Azeez Ojulari, but not Dexter Lawrence. Prediction time. Will the Cowboys make a trade? 1 for yes, 0 for no. Let me know in the comment section of today's video. TKG, after last night's win, why don't I feel good about the win? Also, how many flags in total yesterday from both teams? The final stat line of accepted penalties only, there were like 4 or maybe 6 that were offsetting or declined, something like that. 11 for the Cowboys, 4 for the Giants. They were bad, and the refs were bad. They totally whiffed on a face mask on Overshown. Should have been called for it. He wasn't. They totally whiffed that one. And then they were pretty terrible throughout the course of the game, too. The reason why you don't feel as good is because you're still not sold on this team. And I don't blame you at all for that. They're 2-2. They got by. The sky is not falling yet, but it's cloudy. And you have reasons to be concerned. Now, if you want to be a part of future Cowboys mailbags, it's very simple. Hit the sub button. We're live on, in most cases, we're doing this on Friday, obviously, because it was a post-game show, or we had the Thursday game. Live on Mondays, live on Thursdays. So if you haven't already, hit that sub button. YouTube.com/@CowboysTV. CJ DeYoung, in this case, asking about Haason Reddick as a trade. I would call for sure. I don't know if any party involved is willing to do what it takes to make it happen. The Jets probably have a high asking price, so they don't want to admit that they screwed up. They don't want to trade a future third for a 5th this year. You know, that's a bad trade for you. You're going to regret that because it's just costing you assets there. I don't know if Reddick's going to play on a 1-year deal. That's his issue in New York, right? Maybe he'll do it somewhere else. Matthew Judon basically did with the Patriots and the Falcons. And would Dallas give up the money involved to pay him and trade for him? I don't know. But you call. If you're not doing your job if you don't call. So name a player, with that in mind, who you want to go out and trade for. Any position group, any player, any whatever. What player, if you ran the Dallas Cowboys organization, would you like to go out and acquire via a trade? Try to keep it realistic. It's not always the case, but let me know in the comments of today's show. This is actually a super chat from Ecuador Man. He says, how is beating a bad team badly impressive? I wouldn't call it impressive last night. I would call this a you survived game. It was a short week on the road, not the greatest weather conditions. You have not played very well. You found a way to survive, and that's a big deal in the end. It was not pretty. It was a classic ugly Thursday night game. It was not about impressing. The style points are never going to be a thing on Thursday Night Football. You can't beat the allegations that you're just not beating a bad team anyway. You got the win. That's what matters.